Hey everybody, I'm Koa.
I'm True.
And this is the Crew Movie Review. Okay, so 47 meters down, Uncaged. Jaws movie, shark movie. I never watched the first one. I know they did the first movie.
We haven't watched the first one.
And it just didn't appeal to me.
It must have done well in the first one in order for them to make a second one. But I think they had a really good budget doing the second one. Usually you would think the sequels, they don't have not as good of a budget. Not that I can compare it with anything, but I felt like the shots, some of the shots were really beautiful, They did a really good job with like the
cinematography was really good. Yeah.
I mean, it is a beautiful.
And the set locations were nice too.
Yeah,
I mean,
they did a really good job, and I like the fact that the background, the what do you call it, the atmosphere, the ambiance, the atmosphere that they put the characters in. It's not the typical shark movie, right? They're stranded. They are stranded, but it's in an underground cenote city that added that creepiness to it, and they added the creepiness combined with the suspense from the shark.
Well, I think too, they kind of added they added two things in there that are totally, they combine two fears basically and kind of put them in something that you would never expect to happen: claustrophobia and sharks.
One of my favorite scenes in that, favorite plot line of the movie is that they didn't adhere to the typical shark. For this movie, they focused on the sister relationship. There was that background drama to it, and I think they did a really good job building it up.
Mm-hmm.
Building up that backstory of the two sisters. They weren't getting along well. They didn't have each other's backs at school. One was being bullied. Mia, the shy girl, she was being bullied at school, and her sister Sasha, they're stepsisters. They really didn't have each other's backs, and throughout the movie, the relationship pretty much grows, and basically they really have each other's backs. Like literally, they have each other's backs. And they would do anything to save each other. It
was a good shark movie, I guess. Again, the whole plot hole things. There's just some things in there just kind of like that didn't make any sense. I don't know if I want to get into that.
Yeah, go into it.
All right, so there's probably be some spoilers here, so just be ready for that. The girls are sent to go on a boat trip to watch these sharks, great white sharks, in a glass bottom boat, basically, and
something happens
when they get there. Some other friends of the Sasha, they come and they convince them, hey, let's go somewhere else where there's tourists aren't going to be there. It'll be somewhere fun. And so they go out into the middle of the jungle, and they find, there's this cenote, which is basically a giant sinkhole that's been filled up with water. And so they go in there and they reveal that this is actually an entrance to an underground Mayan. In order to get into this Mayan city, they got to go through a small corridor, which isn't much bigger than a person laying down horizontally can swim through. I mean, it's just a little box, and you kind of take up the whole space just to swim through it. And they get into this chamber, and it's supposed to be this sacrificing chamber or whatever, and they're like, ooh, cool. And then of course this is where we meet our first shark, and this is I'm sorry, let me step back here just 1 second. They see a cave dwelling fish, so they're blind, and cave fish, because there's not a lot for them to eat, they tend to be really small. I mean, like that big. I mean, they're not really big at all. But in there, they made a point to point out that
he's actually implementing real world logics to it, and evolutionary aspects to it. But it's just a scary. It's just a shark movie. Don't look so much into it.
It could have been made better. But let me rant. Let me have my little rant. So And they made it a point to say, like, oh, it's bigger than normal. Which, there's no reason for it to be bigger than normal. There's nothing really down there for them to eat to begin with.
Because of the ecosystem that
Right.
the small ecosystem that they would have evolved to be smaller organisms. Not
Well, as cave fish tend
right,
to be.
exactly.
And then they throw in the shark.
And the shark's like huge.
And the shark is a great white shark. It's like a 50-foot
But
shark.
now it's albino because there's
Right.
the lack of sunlight.
And they're blind. And it's a blind shark.
Because they don't need any
right, because it
eyesight
evolved down in this cave
with
system.
sound oriented
So
hunting.
I'm thinking like, okay, so I'm with you so far until they try to escape. They go back the way they came, and of course the shark is too big to fit into this small corridor. Okay, so the shark is trapped inside this city. No. They have like a cave in. They get trapped in there, of course, otherwise the movie would be over if they got out. So they're forced to go back into this chamber, and the only way out of this chamber is through another small corridor with a winding staircase that goes down for this 50-foot great white shark to fit down into. But yet somehow it's trapped inside this single room. So it has to be
a separate... there are many, many sharks, right?
Yeah.
And Koa's point was bringing to me before was that means they would have had to evolve separately in each area that the girls were moving from place to place.
I mean, it's a 50-foot shark that has to eat. They eat all the time. They have to eat all the time. And they're in a cave system with hardly any food. It's not like they have people coming in this thing on a daily basis or other big fish for them to eat. There's just no way that a 50-foot shark can evolve over generations and generations with no food source, be 50 feet, be a big great white shark. If they would have made the shark small, like a human, 6 feet long, and still say it's a great white, because it looks like a great white and everything, just they scaled it down, and it can swim through the corridors and get out, okay, you would have me, it'd still be a human eating machine, that kind of thing, and it might be a little more believable, but this whole thing that this 50-foot shark evolved down in here in a single chamber with no way out.
That's a good point.
It just ruined it for me after that.
Yeah.
And so I was just like,
apart from that, were there any good aspects of the movie that you liked? You said cinematography.
Cinematography, yes. It was really well done. Back to your point with the whole sister dynamic thing with the two stepsisters. They do get you to kind of care about the sisters. Right.
They did a good job of making us understand the characters better before they jumped into the horror part of it.
Right. I mean, other than that, I didn't really care much for the movie. There was a couple of scenes in there where kind of like,
I thought
it was kind of like, and it's like, oh,
well,
but then it's like, okay, that was it. That only happened like twice where I felt like it was like, in your face, but it wasn't like I was like horrified.
I thought there were quite a few kill scenes that were very.
But they were totally expected. I totally saw them coming. It just wasn't.
Well, yeah, of course you can see it coming, but I thought they were done pretty well sequenced. Not everyone died just.
No, of course not.
There was some scary jump.
You gotta eat them. You gotta take them out one at a time.
Moments, and I thought it was done okay. It was pretty well done in terms of the way the kill scenes were filmed. Were put together.
Right. Well, I would have to say I enjoyed this B-rated shark movie better than the Scary Stories.
Well,
but,
really?
Yeah.
I would say the opposite. I would say
Really?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a lot better. It's a completely different genre, though.
It is. But...
So we can't really compare the two. But, John Corbett, I don't know if I'm saying this right,
Corbett?
but John Corbett plays the father. I always like him. He's very cute.
Yeah, he's the guy who played, he's the guy that played,
from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He was in Sex and the Cities.
Yeah.
Sex and the City.
if I remember correctly, I remember him from Ninja Turtles. He played Casey Jones, I think, from the original, the original movies way back in the 80s.
Really? Oh, I don't even know there was
I think
Ninja Turtle movies. Oh, okay, cool.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But that's who reminded me.
But
I'm probably wrong.
Anyway, but what do you think? What's the score that you want to give it?
I'll give it a 6.
Give it I'll give it a 6 too, because it's good. I mean, it's well done. It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. The colors. There was a song right when they were going into the city that was like really good. It captured that free-spiritedness of the girls beautifully. And Mia, being a shy girl, she's submerging she's becoming a woman, right? So she's that slow transition from a shy, meek girl to like a courageous young woman.
Standing up for herself.
Yeah, and that song in the movie, like, captured it, like where it's like, oh, it's the beginning of something, something, no matter what, it's going to end, it's going to be a change, a catalyst for something, something great in life. Or, I really think that at the very end, and again, spoilers, at the very end, where the two sisters have to, they've been saving each other the whole way through, like holding each other's hands, being there for each other, but the end part where they literally have to fight off the shark from each other's, off of each other, I felt like, man, that girl should have been dead by the time the other girl got to it. I'm like, how do you not die from that? Like, why would a shark keep that girl in his mouth for that long without chopping? Where we saw early in the movie, all the other girls got chopped up like really fast, or
That's true,
I mean, all other men that were also eaten, other characters that were eaten. It's like they're ripped apart,
Well, they ripped apart, they just come, they bite, and they're chopped in half.
Dead, But whereas at the end, the girl, one of the characters, the girls, she got bitten, and the shark's like just holding her in his mouth until the other sister can like save that sister from the shark, and vice versa. They like went back and forth with that. I was like, how are you not dead?
Right. Well, that's another thing with the whole reality thing. It's like, because when sharks bite, and they bite to eat something, they don't just sit there and they don't just crunch down.
They don't go, I'll keep it for a snack,
They bite down and they shake back and forth to rip and cut.
Yeah.
Their
I mean, now we're not experts on sharks, obviously, but I would think that would.
I've watched enough Shark Week to know I'm an expert on sharks. But no, if you watch any shark video, when they go to eat something, they always go like this, and then they go like that.
Or at least that's
Or they shake their whole body back and forth too. Yeah. Sorry about if I shook the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tend to like wiggle, and so yeah, they kind of serrate the flesh.
In terms of suspense, they did a really good job being suspenseful.
Yeah, it was pretty suspenseful.
The kill scenes were good. The character dynamics was really good between the two sisters. The ending. The ending was okay, it was good, it was expected, what's expected of us.
Yeah,
shark movie was expected. Would they survive, would not survive, or...
Well, some do, some don't.
Some do, some don't.
But overall, it was good. Yeah. Overall, it was good. I mean, despite those negative points...
So we gave it a 7.
You gave it a 7. I gave it a 6.
Oh,
you said
wait.
6.
Okay, a 6. Okay, so we want a 6.
Give it a 6.
That. So...
Yeah.
That's our review.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys, and have a good night.
And that'll conclude the crew review. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.
And watch out for our reviews on these movies next week.